There are 5 days left for Canadians to decide who will be the next leader of our country. We've been sitting down with the leaders from all parties to share their visions for the future. This morning, Liberal candidate Chrystia Freeland is joining us in studio. Good to have you here with us this morning.
Great to be with you this morning, Emery.
We should mention as well, we had put in several requests for Liberal Party leader Justin Trudeau. All of those were turned down, but we are speaking to you ahead of that in this morning. I was just curious about the change in tone. I remember covering the 2015 campaign, Justin Trudeau was very present for the media. I did interviews, did a lot of debates. We've seen a much limited approach. Part of the reason that I'm speaking to you today instead of him. Why the change in approach to media this time around?
Well, I think the Prime Minister has, as Prime Minister, actually been remarkably open to Canadians and accessible to Canadians. The
but as a candidate,
that's changed. Have been unprecedented. And I think during the campaign, people have had a real opportunity to hear from the Prime Minister directly. I think the Prime Minister also is someone who really believes in running as the leader of a team. And I think he is happy in this campaign to be giving other members of his team a chance to speak for the team too. So I'm glad to be here with you this morning.
We're glad to have you here. You know, over the course of the year, his credibility, or over the course of this campaign in particular, his credibility has been questioned throughout this campaign. Experts say any chance that Canada have of securing a seat on the UN Security Council was lost because of the blackface, brownface scandal that had happened. I'm curious, is it frustrating, given all the work that you have done in this past 4 years, to see something like that happen, given a scandal that was not of any of your own doing?
Well, Emery, on the UN Security Council, I would really like to know who those experts are, because certainly my perception is, and the perception of our team working at the UN, is Canada has a fantastic chance of getting that seat at the UN Security Council. People around the world and countries around the world really hold Canada in high regard, as they should. I think Canada today is the strongest liberal democracy in the world. It is one of the few countries in the world that is speaking out for human rights at a time when a lot of countries are pulling back from that. And I think that is respected and admired around the world. And it is for that reason that I think Canada will get that place at the UN Security Council.
I would push back and say that that would have been true up until the time of the election while he was still Prime Minister, but during this campaign is when the issue of blackface and brownface came out. And there is concern that this will then hurt our chance, which had been set up, as you so well described, before this campaign began. Do you still feel confident that?
I still feel 100% confident, really, truly. I mean, look, we are still some time away from when countries will choose which countries get those seats on the UN Security Council. But I really believe, and I think Canadians should be proud of the position that Canada has in the world today, the position that Canada has as one of the countries that is standing up for the rules-based international order, standing up for liberal democracy, standing up for human rights. And that is seen, understood, and appreciated. And that is going to be why countries around the world support us for that seat on the Security Council.
One of the global reputations Canada has is for multiculturalism, but real concern here at home with the passing of Bill 21 in Quebec, that multiculturalism is under threat in this country. All leaders have said that they will not interfere with a decision made at the provincial level to pass the secularism law. Justin Trudeau, at the end of the French language debate, said he might consider. I'm curious what that line would be. When would he consider intervening?
So I do agree with you that one of the things that is the most precious about Canada and appreciated not only by us but around the world is we are a country that really believes our diversity is our strength. When it comes to C21, the Prime Minister and our party, we've been really clear that it is not the government's job, it is not any government's job to tell Canadians how they should dress, what they should wear.
But there is a government saying that.
And the Prime Minister has been very clear about that. Alone of all the leaders of major parties, Prime Minister Trudeau has said that he would consider intervening when necessary. I think the other thing which is really important for Canadians, we're speaking in English, so we're speaking probably mostly to English Canada. I think the other thing really important for Canadians in English Canada to appreciate is right now C21 is being challenged in the courts by Quebecers. And I really salute those Quebecers who are challenging that legislation that our government doesn't agree with.
But my question was, what would the line be? We know that he said he may get involved. When? If the court challenge fails, will he step in?
You know, as a minister, my policy always was to appreciate that when I was a journalist, talking about hypotheticals was most of the fun. But as a leader, I think you have to be very cautious talking about hypotheticals because you just don't know precisely what the future conditions will be. The Prime Minister has been clear that he doesn't rule out intervening, and I think that's an important position which distinguishes him in defense of the rights of Canadians, in defense of the Charter from every other leader.
Okay, asked to answer. Your government had 289 mandates in the final minutes before we close here in 2015. That's 289 promises, according to the government mandate tracker. 76 of those mandates have not been achieved. So should your party have maybe promised less and then delivered more?
You know what? I think being ambitious is always a great thing. I think that, I think there's this line that
it's a great thing if you achieve your ambitions.
No, a person's reach should always exceed their grasp. And I think that the way that you get a lot done is you set yourself an extremely ambitious target, extremely ambitious targets. I am really proud of our government's record, and I am proud to run on that record. I am proud of 1.1 million jobs created by Canadians over the past 4 years, some of the strongest economic growth in the world. I am proud of how we've managed the NAFTA negotiation. Canada today is the only G7 country that has trade deals with every other G7 country in a protectionist world. That is remarkable. And our government, as we committed to, has imposed a price on pollution across the whole country, the strongest climate action any Canadian government has ever taken.
Ms. Freeland, one last question before you go. Would you ever consider running for the federal leadership of the Liberal Party?
I am focused right now on running to be re-elected as the Member of Parliament for University Rosedale. Anyone in University Rosedale, please vote for me on Monday. And I am very, very proud to be supporting Justin Trudeau, our great leader of our party, and I hope Prime Minister again after the election.
So not soon.
As I said, I am a big fan of Justin Trudeau. We have been lucky to have him as Prime Minister, and I really am confident that Canadians will choose to keep him in that job he has done so well.
Ms. Freeland, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.